All right, so we are on 9.5. This is estimating decimals. And this is on in your books, page 68. If we can rearrange that a little bit. Perfect. All right, so if you look on page 68 in your book, on top page 68, it says estimate sums. Estimate sums by rounding to the nearest whole number. So what we're looking at here and what we need to remember is we are estimating, and we need to remember what it means to estimate. So it says, just as you did with whole numbers, you can estimate the answers to problems involving decimals. Estimate $6. Well, that's a bad one. $6.75. I need to work on my numbers there. $6.75 plus $15.45, I believe. Yep, 45 cents by rounding to the nearest dollar. So if I'm rounding both of those to the nearest dollar, hey, I have to look at this one right here because I'm rounding to the nearest dollar, and this is 7, so that means I am rounding up. Remember, it either can stay at 6 or it can go up to 7. It can't do anything else. So you can either stay at 6 or go up to 7. Since this is 7, you guessed it, this is going up to $7. And we are adding, we've got $15.45 here. I look at the tenths place, not the tens, but the tenths place, and it's a 4, so I'm rounding down. Remember, I can either stay at 15 or I round up to 16, so I stay at $15. Add the two of those up, 7 plus 15, $22. So example of that would be like if you're paying $6.75 to one place and $15.45 to another, you can just kind of guess in your head or estimate in your head, hey, this rounds up to $7, this rounds up to $15, so I'm going to pay a total of $22 total. If we look at the bottom of that, it's got another example for us. Add 3165 and 802. Then estimate to check if your answer is reasonable. So remember, this is a 0. Sorry, my bad handwriting there. 5 plus 2 is 7. 6 plus 0 is 0. Got the decimal. 1 plus 8 is 9. And 3 plus nothing is 3. So I've got 3907. Now I need to estimate in my head to see if my answer is reasonable. 31 is rounding up to 32. And this is staying at 8. So my answer is 40. Is 3907, is that close to 40? Is my answer reasonable? Yes. So it's $1 off, but think about this is $31 and $8. I had a pretty close answer there. So 39, oh, sorry, this is 67, 3967. I messed that up. 3967. I don't have you guys in class to correct me when I make mistakes. Yeah, so it's 3967 and 40. Hey, that's pretty good. So yes, it is reasonable. And this is why it's really important to be able to know how to estimate, because estimating can help you figure out, like, hey, about how much am I figuring it out? And this is like, in your day-to-day life, this is going to be a tool that you're going to use a lot going forward. So let's look at some guided practice. We'll do 2 of them. We'll do numbers 1 and 3. Number 1 is $3.78, or 3.78, I should say. 3.78 plus 5.2, and then number 3 is 14.9 plus 25.23. You can pause the video and do those and then come back. Remember, you're supposed to also estimate afterwards to check if your answer was reasonable. So pause the video now, and then you can come back and check to see if you got the right answers. All right, so back now, adding 378 and 5.2, you should have gotten 6.98. 6.98. Sorry, it's not 6.98, 8.98. And if you're rounding, this number would round up to 4. This number would round to 5. 4 plus 5 is going to be 9. And this number is $8.98. So yes, that is reasonable. Then this number right here plus this number right here. Last one I did in my head. This one's a little bit more challenging, so I'm going to write that one down. $25.23. This gets 3. This becomes 11. And I carry the 1. 1 plus 4 is 5. 5 plus 5 is 10. 2, 3, 4. And so I get 40.13. Now I'm going to go back in the original ones and estimate to see if I got the right answer. I'm going to use red for this. So estimating using the right answer, I look at this and I'm rounding this to 15. I look at this and I round this to 25. 25 plus 15 is 40. Is what I have reasonable? Yes, it is, because 40.13 is very close to 40. So I'm doing a good job of estimating. All right, if I look at the middle of page 69 here, it says estimate differences by rounding to the nearest whole number. Estimate the value of 7.13 minus 5.7 by rounding to the nearest whole number. So 7, I'm going to switch back to my color here. Let's do blue, and I'm going to erase that. So 7.13 minus 5.7 by rounding to the nearest whole number. So it doesn't say to go ahead and do it right now, it just says to estimate. So here, I look at this number, and that means I'm rounding down to 7. Remember, you can either stay at 7 or you can go up to 8. And then I look at this number, it means I'm going up, so it becomes 6. 7 minus 6 is 1. So, boom, I say my final answer is I am estimating it to be about 1. The next thing it says is subtract 1.86 from 11.09. So I've got 11.09 and 1.86. So subtract and estimate to check if your answer is correct. So I'm just going to do right here, I'm going to do my arrows, so I'm getting ready to do the estimation. 9 minus 6 is 3. 0 minus 8 I can't do, so I put 10 here, and I have to borrow that and make it a 0. 10 minus 8 is 2. 0 minus that I can't do, so this becomes a 0. This becomes 10. 10 minus 1 is 9. So 923 is what I had. And 1109, that if I look in, let me do this. Sorry, I'm rounding to the nearest 1, I believe. Yeah, so I'm rounding to the nearest whole number. So I want to undo that, which I'm blanking on how to do right now. So I'm just going to use, instead I'm going to highlight this. So if I look at this, then I round to the nearest, that becomes 11. And if I look at, here, we'll use this here, and I round to the nearest 1, well, I'm rounding up to 2 then, and my answer becomes 2. So 11 minus 2 is 9, and look, 923, 9, boom. Means I've got an answer that's close enough. Next thing is guided practice on bottom of page 69. I'll do 2 of those, 4 and 6. So 4 is 9.87 minus 0.96. And then estimate to see if your answer is reasonable. So you can pause this and then, actually I'm going to, so that this is the first one you should be doing, and then the second one, number 6, is 24.59 minus 19.68. So pause now and do those 2, 4 and 6. It's on bottom of page 69. And then come back and you can check your answer with what I had. All right, coming back here. So 7 minus 6 is 1. 8 minus 9 can't do it, so this has to become 18. Which means I'm borrowing from this, and that becomes 8. So 18 minus 9 is 9. Put my decimal point down. 8 minus 0 is 8. So I should get, I'm going to hope that my answer is $9, so that I didn't, that means I'm estimating, looking if I got the right thing. So if I go back and I look here, I'm looking at the original number 8 there. So 9 is going up, so that means I'm just running it to 10. And here, 9, I'm going up, which means that also is 10. What did I do wrong? Did you guys figure it out? Hopefully you did. So what I did wrong was that this said I needed to subtract and I was supposed to add. So good job to you if you figured it out. I got to erase my work here. So I got 9.87 minus 0.96. All right, so 7 minus 6 is 1. 8 minus 9, so this is still 18. It still becomes 8. 18 minus 9 is 9, and 8 minus that is 8 minus 0 is 8. So 8.91, and again, I go back and look at here. This rounds up to 10. This rounds up to 1, and I am subtracting here. I think that maybe was where I made the mistake last time. 10 minus 1 is 9. Hey, look at that. They're pretty close. That means I did the right thing. I look over at this one, and let's see. 9 minus 8 is 1. 5 minus 6 can't do, so that becomes 15, and this becomes a 3. 15 minus 6 is going to give me 9. 3 minus 9 can't do, so this becomes 13 and 1. 13 minus 9 is 4. 1 minus 1 is 0, so I don't put anything down there. Gotta erase that because I don't want anything to be down there at all. Then if I look over and try to get my answers over here, 24.59, it doesn't matter what this 9 is. The fact that it's high doesn't really make any difference because I'm rounding to the nearest whole number, which means I'm rounding this one, so I'm looking to this one. 5 rounds up, so it goes from 24 to 25. Hopefully you went and did that on yours as well. And then I look here at the 6 to see if the 9 is going to round up. Yes, that is a 9. Sorry, my poor handwriting here. 6 means that's going up as well, so 19 goes up to 20, and I am subtracting. I get 4.915. Look at that. Means I got the right answer as well, or at least pretty close to the right answer if I didn't actually get the whole thing completely right. All right, let's flip over to top of page 70. This is going to be the last thing that we do for today. So top of page 70, estimate the product of a decimal and a whole number by rounding the decimal. So we're estimating a product here. Product, remember that when you see the word product, you should think, what? That's right, product means multiply. So if we have 11.97 times 2, and we're rounding to the nearest whole number, well, I look here and I see, boom, that's going to become 12. 12 times 2, wow, that's a lot easier. That's 24. Boom, I am done. That made it way easier. Next one, it says 2.74 times 4. And we're just going to do the work, and then we're going to check it afterwards. We already know, hey, this is going to round to 3. The 4 is already 4, so 3 times 4. Hopefully, our answer is around 12. I know I'm doing this out of order. But that would kind of give you an idea of, like, this might be how you use it in your life kind of going forward here is you would say, hey, I'm going to round this right away to 3, round that right away to 4, so I get the answer right away. Then I'm going to go back and actually do the work, even though the book tells me to do it the other way around. 4 times 4 is 16. 7 times 4 is 28, 29. 2 times 4 is 8, 9, 10. And I count 2 decimals I need to add back on. 10.96, 12. Not as close as I want it to be, I guess, but it is pretty close. And one thing you got to remember with multiplying and dividing, which the next thing we're going to do is dividing. When you're multiplying and dividing, your answer might be a little bit further off, but that's still pretty reasonable of an answer. Then if I look at the guided practice down there, I'm going to do numbers 7 and 9. So number 7 is 0.66 times 7. And number 9 is 0.98 times 3. Actually, you know what? That one is too similar to the first one. We are going to change this one. Instead of 9, we're going to do, let's do 10, where it says 3.15 times 9. So go ahead and do those two. Estimate your answers afterwards to see if you got the right answer, and then come back and look at these. All right, back here, 6 times 7 is 242, actually. 6 times 7, 42 again, plus 4. 42 plus 4 is 46. And I have 2 decimal places up here, so 4.62 is what I get from my answer here. If I estimate that, then I'm going to see, hey, this is, let's look at that in a different color. Round that to the nearest one, that becomes 1. This becomes 7. My answer is 7. Are those really similar? They're not that close, but one thing you do have to remember here is that this number is almost 1, and you almost could have said, hey, I'm going to estimate this to a half. And if you think about a half times 7, you would have gotten 3.5, which would have been closer. But if you're estimating pretty far away with, there's a large portion of this number that you're estimating up. So your number is going to be a little bit farther off. But yes, that is a good estimation, and that answer is going to be, that answer is correct. And I look at this one, 9 times 5 is 45. 9 times 1 is 9, plus 4 is 13. 9 times 3 is 27, 28. With the 1, there's 2 extra decimal points right there. What would I round this to? 3 and 9. If I do that, I get 27. Hey, look at that. My answer is really close this time. And then if you look back, it makes sense because 9 we have exact, 3.15. Hey, the extra 1500s here, that's not a large portion of the number. So it makes sense that our final answer would be really close to what our estimation would in this case. We're actually going to do the next two here because they're not taking that much additional time. If you look on the top page 71, and now we are estimating quotients. And what is quotients? Well, if a product is multiplication, that's right. A quotient is, say it with me, division. So if we're looking at division here, if you're doing 23.64 divided by 4, well, what we do here is we need to take 23.64 divided by 4. Sorry, this is a 4. 4 goes into 23. How many times? Well, it goes into 24 6 times. That means it must go into this 5 times. 5 times 4 is 20. I subtract, get the 3, drop down the 6. 4 goes into 36 9 times. Remember that whenever I put this decimal here, I can put that decimal same right up there. So that's where my decimal goes. 9 times. 9 times 4 is 36. I have a 0, but then this extra 4 drops down. And 4 goes into that 1 time. So 5.94 is my answer here. But if I look at estimating these, 23.64, I round here, that becomes 24. 24 divided by 4. Wow, I should have done that right away. That's way easier. 24 divided by 4 is, say it with me, 6. Is that close to 5.91? You bet your butt is. Very, very close. And let's do another example, 40.4. Let's make this, and we're doing this one for purple. 40, I don't want that extra stuff there. 40.4 divided by 5. Remember, I'm going to put this decimal up right away. 5 goes into 40 8 times. 8 times 5 is 40. I get a 0 there, but then I'm going to drop this 4 down. Does 5 go into 4? No, it does not. So I actually put a 0 there. And then I have another 0 here that I would be dropping down. 5 goes into 40. How many times? 5 goes into 40 8 times. 8 times 5. 5 is 40. And boom, my 0 is here now. So I get 8.08 or 8 800ths there. If I look back to what the problem originally was, it was 40.4. Well, that's going to round to 40 divided by 5. Look, we're getting 8 right away for our answer there. Is that close to what we got? Yes, it is. It's very close. So we know that we did that right. And we've got, let's do guided practice 11 and 13. So 11 is 12.3 divided by 4. I'm going to drag this down a little bit so I have more room to write. So 11, and then 13 is 20.93 divided by 7. So go ahead and do those two, 11 and 13, and then come back in here and check your work. All right, we're back here. 4 goes into 12 3 times. 3 times 4 is 12. We have nothing down there, but then we're dropping down this 3, remember. Remember, since the 4 can't go into the 3, we put a 0 up here, and then remember there's as many infinite zeros from here as you can possibly imagine, infinite amount. So we actually dropped down another number since we did put a 0 up here. Now 4 goes into 30 how many times? 4 goes into 37 times. Wait. There's some kind of problem here. I had 12.3 divided by 3. Okay, so here's the problem. I wrote down the wrong problem, the different problem what the book had. So I'm going to go back and do this. Hopefully you wrote it down the right way. If you didn't write it down the right way, if you just copied what I wrote down right here, why don't you, well, the right thing is 12.3 divided by 4. Sorry, I would have gotten a much different looking decimal. That's why I'm not going to continue to do that old one. So if you didn't do the right one last time, go ahead and pause this, then come back and look at this. All right, and back 4 divided by 12 is 3. 3 times, or sorry, 4 goes into 12 3 times. 3 times 4 is 12. Remember, I got to put this little decimal up here. 1 decimal, it's just got a really big dot, I guess. And then the 3 comes down here. Oh, look at that, I did the same problem again. This is supposed to be divided by 3. Man. That's okay, everybody makes mistakes. Okay, so again, 12.3 divided by 3. I'm looking right at the book right now here. Now I know the answer. 12.3 divided by 3. Well, at least I know the right problem. Hopefully I can find the answer. So again, go back and look at it again. 3 goes into 12 4 times. 4 times 3 is 12. I have nothing down here. I drop down this 3. 3 goes into 3 1 time. 1 times 3 is 3, and I get 0 for an answer. So 4.1 is my answer, and if I look at what I would have done if I would have rounded these, yeah, let's go with black. So 12.3 rounds to 12 divided by 3. What do I get if I get 12 divided by 3? Well, 12 divided by 3 is 4. Is that very close to 4.1? Yes, it is. I have the right answer. All right, and over here, I'm going to put that decimal up right away. 7 goes into 20. Well, 21 would be 3 times, but it's not quite that much, so it must be 2. 2 times 7 is 14. Subtract, I get 6. Then I have to drop down next number, 9. 7 goes into 9. Sorry, 7 goes into 69. Well, almost 10 times, but not quite, so it must be 9 times. 9 times 7, rack your brain, what is it? Yep, 63. If you don't know those multiplication tables, study, study, study. You got to know them for this. 69 minus 63 is 6, and then I'm going to drop this 3 down. 7 goes into 63 how many times? Well, we just did that, so it must be exactly 9. 9 times 7 is 63. Sorry, 63. 0 left over, that means this is our final answer. And if we would have rounded, I think 20.9, that rounds to 21. Sorry, 21 divided by 7. Well, that would have been exactly 3. And look at that. Our answers are very close. We know we got the right answer. Or at least we know we got a very close answer. All right, last section, last part, page 72. We're estimating the sums by rounding to the nearest tenth. So it says estimate the value of 2.49 plus, make sure that's a 9, 2.49 plus 6.54 by rounding to the nearest tenth. So we look at the tenth here, or rounding to the nearest tenth, which means we're looking at the next number afterwards to know what we're rounding to. So 2.49. 9 goes up, so remember this can either be only 2.4 or 2.5. Rounding down means you stay at 2.4. Rounding up means you go to 2.5. So this becomes 2.5 because the 9 means we're going up. And then here I look at the 4 because we're rounding to the nearest tenth, and the 4 is in the hundredth, the next place we would look over to. 4 goes up or down? Yeah, down, so that means we stay at 6.5. All right, and if this is what we're doing when we're rounding, I can just say, hey, 2 plus 6 is going to be 8, and then 5 tenths plus another 5 tenths is going to be 1. 8 plus 1 is 9. There we go. I rounded, and that's how I got my answer. And the guided practice for this one, we'll do 14, 17, and then we'll do 2 of 19 and 21. So let's do 14 first. Actually, no, we're going to do 15 because 14 is similar to the one that we just did. 15 is 0.47 times 4. Well, I'm rounding to the nearest tenth, remember? So I look here, because that's the hundredth, and I'm rounding up or down because of 7. I'm rounding up, so that means I round to 5/10 times 4. 4 times 5 is 20. So I got 1 decimal. That means my answer is 2.0, or just 2. And then I look over, I'm going to do, let's see, do I want to do 16 or 17? I think 17 looks more fun. And no, fun does not just mean it's more hard, it's harder. 5.28 divided by 6, although I will say sometimes fun does mean harder. Gotta rack those brains. So here I am running to the nearest tenth. Remember, that's what this whole thing is about, running to the nearest tenth. So I look at the 8. Am I running up or down? That's right, I'm running up. So this turns into 5.3 divided by 6. Ooh, 5.3 divided by 6. Do I know exactly what that is? No. Well, if you look in the book, page 73, it actually gives you a clue there. It says, hey, instead of rounding exactly to the nearest tenth, why don't you, what does it do? Because you know 6 doesn't go into 53, right? But 6 does go into 54, so it says you can round to 5.4, or 6 does go into 4.8. Remember, 6 goes into 48, 6 goes into 54. Which one of those is closer to 5.28? Because we're not just rounding to the nearest tenth exactly right here. We're rounding to a tenth that is going to help us somewhat. So 6, which one is it going into? 4.8 or 5.4? Which one's closer? That's right, 5.4 is closer. So I'm going to do this and open this in a new tab. 5.4 divided by 6. 6, remember I put my decimal there. 6 goes up into 54. Yep, exactly 9 times. 9 times 6 is 54. Oh, that's right, I got to remember my 0 right there. 9/10 is going to be my answer. It's about that much. Let's look at 16 too, because I forgot to explain that way of doing it before. So 16 is 3.46 divided by 4. So think, what is 34 close to that 4 goes into? Because we're rounding to the nearest tenth here. Well, 4 goes into 36, and it goes into 32, or 3.6 and 3.2 in this case. Which one is 3.46 closer, 3.6 or 3.2? That's right, it's closer to 3.6. So we would do 3.6 divided by 4. 4 goes into, remember I put my decimal there, 3 0 times, goes into 36, 9 times, 9 times 4, 36. Look at that, we're done. 9/10 is our answer again. Yes, it's a coincidence that you got the same answer for both of those. All right, let's look at a couple of these guided practice. We're going to do, let's do 18, 20, and 21. So 18 is 12.42 plus 12.64. So this one, remember, since we're rounding for these ones, we are rounding to the nearest tenth right away. So I look here, and this becomes 12.4 because it rounds down to 12.4. This one becomes 12.6 because it rounds down to 12.6. Add those up. Becomes 5 to 25. Boom, done. If I get the exact answer, it says to check your answer and see if it's reasonable. The real answer there was, if we actually look at it here, and if I would have done it, 2 plus 4 is 6, and then everything else would have gotten the exact same thing. Get the 1 up here, becomes 5 and 2, so 25.06. Yeah, our answer was really close. That's why we love estimating. So that was 18. Let's do 20 now. 20 is 1.79 times 3. Now, I'm going to do the estimation off to here. And it says round to the nearest tenth. So 1.79, 9 goes up, so it becomes 1.8 times 3, which maybe we don't know that off the top of our head, which is what estimation is supposed to be for. But eventually you might get to the point where you know what 18 times 3 is off the top of your head. So 3 times 9 is 7, 2, 27. 3 times 7 is 21, 22, 23. 3 times 1 is 3, 4, 5. So 5.37. 3 times 8 is 24. 3 times 1 is 3, 4, 5. 5, and look at that, decimal goes here, because here we've got 2 decimal places, so it becomes 5.37. Here we've got 1 decimal place, so it becomes 5.4. Oh, look at that. Answers are very close to each other. All right, and last one before you start on the actual